What's going on, guys? My name's Josh and I'm back today with another Scream 5 video. Before we get started, if you could please subscribe to this channel and please like this video. Now I got my Scream 5 mug ready. You better watch out because it's time to get this video started. Let's go. Hey guys, so before I get started, I just want to take a quick minute and show you some of my horror movie tattoos. I actually have a sleeve, but look at this. I have Ghostface. I got Freddy Krueger, Jason. This is probably one of my favorites. Aliens. I have the Psycho House. Hellraiser box. Chucky's Eye. I got Godzilla. I don't know if I said this, the Psycho House, and then I have the It Balloon. So yeah, just to have a little horror movie sleeve. Definitely want to get some more in the future. I would love to get Jaws, Michael Myers. There's just so many more I can get, but I'm like, I don't really have much space on my arm left, but I just wanted to take a second and share that with you guys. Anyways, today I'm here because there was an interview done by deaddaily.com where they interviewed the directors of Scream 5, or we're calling it now Scream, Matt and Tyler, and also they interviewed the producers Chad and William. Today I just want to share, I'm going to put the link to the interview in the description of this video, so I definitely recommend everyone go check that out to see the full interview. And today I'm just going to take a couple pieces from that interview, a couple highlights from the interview, and share some things I found interesting with you guys, and then talk about it. So first up was pretty much Matt on the pressures of making a new Scream. And here's what he said. He said, but the script was so fucking good and hit all the notes that once the foundation was in place, we were able to use it as an energy and create the idea and get the ball rolling of how do we create a movie that pays respect to the past, that pays respect to what Wes and Kevin created, but also manages to do something new, which at the end of the day, we think is the way to ultimately pay our respect the most, because that's what they did for us. They created something new. So to be able to do that moving forward is just so exciting, and to have all of the legacy cast involved and all of their input, and to be getting all of their stories from everybody that worked with Wes is just it's really been a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So that's one consistent thing that we have been hearing from some of the cast, and yeah, from the directors, is how good the script is. That's definitely getting me excited for the new Scream movie. Just hearing all the positive feedback about the script is really good. And I think, these new directors, Tyler and Matt, they're really cool, and I like how you can tell that they respect, Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson so much, and are such huge fans of them, that I definitely have faith, from everything I've been hearing, all their interviews, and just the way they talk, that, they are really trying their best to pay respect to the Scream movies, but also at the same time, keep it fresh and make it something new. So next I want to talk about Tyler Gillett and how this movie follows the previous movie's footsteps, but also connects to the new movie. And here's what he said. So, we had this fear, and Matt alluded to this earlier, going into reading the script, that there's so much weight in what those four movies are. And I mean this, by the way, also, it speaks to the legacy characters. The fact that there are so many characters that so many people want to know more about, want to have more story told about those characters, there's just a level of love and respect for the world that Wes and Kevin created. So for us, it felt like the only way to do this right was to create connectivity. And a lot of it is just naturally what the Scream movies are. They're about lineage. They're about the evaluation of pop culture and the evaluation of the genre. You can't have something new without giving a nod to what came before it, and paying respect and giving a bow to what allowed you to tell the story that you were telling, or the film that you loved. Doesn't exist in a vacuum. There are many things that came before it that influence what it is. So for us, it felt like that was the only right way to do it, was to have a connection to the past and to find a way to create new and interesting characters that would bring a new audience and an old audience together, and hopefully move the whole thing forward in a contemporary and terrifying and fun way. To put it simply, if it was a completely new reboot, we wouldn't have been interested, explained producer Chad Villella. But the fact that Sydney, Gail, Dewey, and Judy, that's like, oh cool, this lineage is what makes Scream movies Scream. That is why the interest is there, and that is why we were very excited to be making it. I think that part of the interview was really cool, and that was probably my favorite part of them saying, they weren't willing to do this. They weren't willing to make a Scream movie if it was a complete new reboot. So the directors and the producer, they, love the Scream movies, but they, like what the Scream legacy is. And if they had to do a completely new reboot, they weren't willing to do it. They weren't then at that point interested. But the fact that, they wanted those previous stories, what was told, that world that Wes and Kevin created, to be part of this new movie, that just makes me more of a fan of them. That's what they initially wanted from the get-go. And as far as reboots, I definitely, if it's a reboot of something I love, I definitely will check it out, but I definitely am not a fan of complete reboots. I definitely prefer, if I love something, that, whatever comes next is a sequel or set in the same universe. So the fact that, we're getting a new Scream movie by completely, different, producers, and it's still set in the same Scream universe, I think is just awesome. And I just love that, they feel the same way. And it seems like, they're definitely making this movie with that in mind. And, the new movie, whatever's going on in the new movie, is definitely going to be connected. And it seems like that's really important to them, to have the two, the old movies kind of connect to these new movies in a logical way. So I love that, that this movie is going to do that and honor those original movies, but at the same time, give us something new and take these movies into the new direction. So next up, according to Matt Bettinelli-Olpin, one of the things that we think that Scream does so well is that it feels like a popcorn movie. It feels like a fun, light intro to horror. But part of that is the reason that makes the magic trick work is because the violence never holds back. They never shy away from what the actual is and what the effects of that are. And that's something that we've thought about a lot and hope to filter into this new version of it as well. One of the things that's unique to the Scream DNA and that separates it from other slashers is how much you care about the characters, continued Gillett. So much of what makes the violence scary is that it's not just a bunch of people you hate getting their karma fixed, it's characters that you really feel for and you relate to, and sure are suspicious of, but because there's obviously a what-not element in there, but at the end of the day, it's not about just glorifying the death of a bunch of insufferable teenagers. These are real characters, and there's a nuanced conversation happening about their relationship and who they are. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what makes that violence scary. It's your connection to the character on an emotional level that makes it matter and gives it the stakes that make it matter. So I gotta say, I love that. One, I gotta say, Scream movies are really fun, and there's definitely some funny moments in there, but he's right where, they definitely are really violent, and, I think that's what Scream fans, we like to see. We do like to see some cool death scenes, and I like that, in this new movie, that they want to do that as well, where there is gonna be definitely some violent death scenes in this movie, and they're not gonna hold back. So I think that part is awesome, that they acknowledge that. And then I think also them saying, that is one thing that separates, the Scream franchises, where, it separates it from, Jason. Where in this one, Scream movies, you do grow to, care about these characters, where, those other slasher movies, the characters are really annoying, you just kind of can't wait for him to die. With Scream movies, feel like you know them so much that you do not want them to die. It's like you're yelling at the screen because you want to jump in there and save them. I can't remember how many times I've watched the original Scream. I don't want to save Tatum. Every time I watch it, I'm like, don't go to the door, or you can make it, get through, just go through faster, you can get through the door. So it's definitely true where, the Scream movies are great at making you care about the characters. You look at how many people comment on any posts of Scream about Kirby. People are definitely invested in these characters, invested in Sydney, all of the characters. So I love that, they're keeping that in mind, and, that's something that they're bringing into the new Scream movie. And I'm hoping not only for the legacy characters, because they definitely, care about all of them. I'm excited to really get to know some of these new characters. I'm really excited for that, and, to not want any of them to die and start to grow to care about them. I'm sure I'm going to have a couple favorites out of the bunch, so I just love that, when they're making this movie, they're keeping that in mind, that they want, the movie to definitely not hold back into violence, but also they want you to care about the characters. But so overall, I thought this was a fun interview. Definitely check this interview out. Like I said, I have the description, or in the description of this video, there's a link to that article where they link to the interview. So please definitely check it out. And what were your thoughts on this interview? Did you like kind of how the directors, their thoughts on things? Are you getting excited like me for Scream 5? I know we definitely have a long way to go. But yeah, overall, like I said, I'm so excited for this. And thank you again for everyone for all of your support and all of my Scream 5 videos. I have a lot of fun making these, and yeah, thank you for watching.